Okay, so it's day 2 at Farnborough Airshow, Farnborough International Airshow. A very busy day so far this morning, and I am now on the stand of Greene Tweed, and I'm joined by Shawn McCloskey, who is the Chief Commercial Officer at Greene Tweed. Shawn, thanks for inviting us onto the stand to meet with you today.
Glad to.
Look, tell us, let's intro by telling us what Greene Tweed does. There's some clues behind us on the stand.
Yeah.
What is it that you do, and what is it that you're exhibiting here this week?
Yeah, I think a critical tagline for us is when it can't fail, right? So that's where Greene Tweed specializes in bringing material science to our customers to solve the world's toughest problems. And if you think about the aerospace industry, there's no better industry to prove that technology.
Yeah.
We've been around for over 160 years, have some new developments that we're thrilled to talk about here at the show today.
Yeah, we love new developments. We'll talk about those, but your core business is components, and it's also thermoplastics.
Correct.
Very, very broadly speaking.
Yeah.
So just tell us what you've been around 160 years. So that's a long time. You didn't start with thermoplastics,
right?
You've developed as the technologies develop.
Yeah.
So where are we today in terms of what is the next gen latest technology that you're bringing to commercial aerospace?
Yeah. You know, for aerospace, for us, sealing solutions has always been a core component of our business, and providing solutions for landing gear and the world's toughest challenges where that can't fail theme really carries throughout. That will always be there, and we're continuing to see advances in that technology. We're excited also to continue to proliferate our Zycomp DLF, which is our lightweighting thermoplastic composite, which we're seeing huge traction across all aspects of aerospace related to lightweighting of components.
So these are, I mean, there's examples around. You wouldn't, unless you're in an aerospace, you wouldn't guess what these things do. They are oddly shaped bits of thermoplastic that do things, important things in aircraft. But the key thing here is the lightweight nature. So everything that an airline can do to reduce obviously the weight of an aircraft is important. And that work is continuing. So what kind of benefits do you bring to an airline in terms of the components that you supply?
Yeah, great. No, and you mentioned the oddly shaped nature, and that's exactly where we specialize in the lightweighting, right? We have the capability to combine multiple parts together in a single solution so that we're providing that lightweighting and that cost benefit of not having the assembly time or the complexities associated with assembling multiple metal components. We can bring that all together in one, and partnering with OEMs on those solutions is what we specialize in.
Yeah, so you not only get the benefit of the lightweight of the material, but as you suggested then, there's fewer parts within a single component, if you like. So you're not bolting bits of metal together. So actually there's fewer ways it could fail.
And maybe most importantly, the labor hours associated with that, right? Because if you think about the skilled trades, the whole industry is talking about the skilled trade shortage and how do we minimize some of those aspects of our assembly process. And so by going to a single solution, you completely eliminate that issue altogether.
And Greene Tweed works across aviation, so it's in commercial aviation, which is obviously our interest, but you're also into the defense side of things.
Correct.
And advanced air mobility as well. So how do those three sectors kind of work together? Is it all a part of a kind of a development process where learnings are shared across sectors?
No, really, it's a wide open space to where we're able to leverage the same technologies across all of these aspects of aviation. We have a strong growth engine in advanced air mobility right now. We're seeing a lot of traction with the Zycomp DLF components that I mentioned for that very reason around the lightweighting that is necessary in that industry. But similarly in defense, I think the whole industry is seeing an uplift there due to some of the recent global conflicts. But more importantly, supporting those long-term programs that are key priorities for Greene Tweed has absolutely been a core.
You mentioned Zycomp DLF, which is, so explain what this is. This is about prototyping, yes? And it's about speeding up the development cycle.
So we just made a recent announcement on our rapid prototyping process. We have a strong group of engineers that is keen to develop with our customers. And we've really unlocked that group of engineers to be able to develop more rapidly, because speed is everything, especially when you're talking about new developments, whether it's for defense and advanced air mobility or even the OEMs. They want to get parts on test as quickly as possible and have those to where they can complete functional assessments on the parts. So the rapid prototyping process has absolutely been something that we've deployed. And speaking of rapid, we also have our McLaren technology partnership, which is maybe a good segue, where we've also deployed that in Formula One, because as we all know, Formula One is highly demanding. The new regulations and car changes that take place on an annual basis is something that we're glad to support, and this rapid prototyping process absolutely helps us do that.
I saw the McLaren badge or on the McLaren logo on your lanyard there, and obviously the Formula One sector, it's a great test bed for this kind of technology because of the speed at which they have to operate.
Yeah,
and in fact, it's all about speed, isn't it? So it's a great way to test out technology. I guess the difficulty then is getting that kind of technology approved for use in aerospace.
Yeah, sure.
Is that really the only barrier to sort of speeding up a deployment of this technology, that you're getting it approved by the regulators so you can actually deploy it?
Yeah, I would say that's a cornerstone, that's a core tenet of aerospace that we have to abide by, and we want to abide by for flight safety reasons. Yeah. So I would say that, working within the spectrum of getting approvals as quickly as possible. I mean, the airworthiness is already proven on our technology. So that's something that we have already in our prowess that we can explain to the marketplace. It's really about identifying those components and having the engineering time on our customer side also to co-develop with us so that we could solve their challenges.
Yeah, I guess part of the rationale for getting things certified is that not only are you improving performance, but actually durability probably improves as well because of the fewer components aspect to it.
Yeah.
So this material is more durable, is it, than traditional metal?
Yeah, especially metal connections where, vibration can cause fastener challenges or things like that, where if you don't have that to worry about with a single component, it's not an issue for you.
Yeah. Just go back to the Formula One. What is it that you do then with it's both Formula One team and the equivalent in the States?
Yeah.
Which is
the
so you're working with both the IndyCar.
Yeah.
So you're working with both those guys. What is it that you provide for those teams then?
Yeah. Well, historically we've served the Formula One space more broadly, but we've recently entered into a technology partnership with McLaren. And that's where we've had, it is a great test bed for us because we've been able to have some developments with them that really are keen in the aerospace industry as well. We just launched a case study on our anti-roll bar, which is in use on the Indy car.
Right.
And the drivers love it, the engineers love it, and they're looking for every gram of weight savings that they can. And so by us partnering with them, we're able to demonstrate the technology from a lightweighting perspective, but also the durability and criticality that's demanded in Formula One.
Yeah, of course. So look, it's day two. I wasn't here yesterday, so it feels busy today.
Quite busy, yeah.
I think you just came from a meeting before we started chatting. What's been the feeling? You said you weren't here last year or 2 years ago exhibiting, so you're back exhibiting at Farnborough again this year. What's been the general feeling while you've been here so far this week?
Yeah, I think everyone's feeling the momentum of the aerospace industry in general. Everyone knows the intense pressure that Boeing and Airbus are putting on the supply chains. That's definitely been a theme. But it's positive.
Yeah.
People are working together. We're working together with our customers to solve those supply challenges. We're working together with customers on new developments that we're tremendously excited about as well. So I'd say the general mood and the environment here is very positive.
Yeah, and there's a lot of innovation going on. I think you see that here, don't you? And this is part of it. Now you're a big global organization.
Yeah.
And also you've been around a long time, 160 years. So tell us a bit about what does innovation look like today for you and for the aviation sector in general?
Yeah. I would say innovation, speed is definitely becoming a strong component of innovation, right? Yeah. And I think that's been driven by multiple factors, but in general, our customers demand more faster. And that's certainly something that we've seen across the innovation space. So that's been the key theme that I'd say around the innovation. That's been a thematic change. The sluggish innovation cycles of aerospace those are days of the past. And now we're into much more rapid prototyping and those types of demands without compromising flight safety.
I mean, look, there's a number of things been pushing this innovation. One you mentioned already, which is the challenge around people and skills and trying to make that a lot easier and more seamless, but also just the supply chain issues that we've experienced generally. You've got all the MROs out there, all the airlines.
Yeah.
There's no lack of demand for the kind of things that you do. It's just the speed at which you can meet that demand. Do you see those problems becoming easier to solve today? I think it started, maybe COVID exposed longer standing issues but it's been a long recovery.
Yeah.
Are we recovering as an industry, or are we just learning to adapt in a new world?
Yeah, I think really as an overall industry, we've seen a lot of, much more collaboration than we have historically around solving these supply challenges. It's no longer just a supplier customer relationship. It's really about how are suppliers and customers getting together to solve those challenges.
Yeah.
And that could be creative ways and, multi-site sourcing and selection, expanding the supply chain capability through other means, material qualifications that maybe historically weren't a priority are becoming a priority, and the supply chain's coming into the fold so that we're ready for that growth and ramp ahead.
Yeah. One of the things that we're particularly interested in, because we cover MRO very closely, and within that, we have our predictive aircraft maintenance conference. So, and you can see there's a lot of interest in predictive because it allows airlines to operate more effectively and efficiently, reduce AOGs and so on. So I wonder what kind of role does Greene Tweed play in that? I think if you can get your parts quicker and more efficiently, you could play a really key role, a very core role in that.
Sure. Yeah, and just from a commercial perspective, it's as simple as sometimes, we may be able to anticipate our customers' demand and pair together their demand signal with what we know of the marketplace and what we're seeing of other demand signals so that we can better prepare our supply chain to meet their demand. So it's really multifaceted on how we can work together. But I would say anticipating that demand and even using some of the new tools like AI technology to, provide statistical forecasting and other elements like that are becoming more imperative for us to be able to meet the demand of the future.
One of the key things if you do predictive is you need the parts ready and waiting at the time you need them. Is what you do a kind of more efficient manufacturing process, therefore it takes a shorter amount of time once the demand is known to get that part to the right place.
No, it's definitely a core focus of ours, and we've invested in automation across all of our manufacturing space, whether that's from packaging or from the Zycomp DLF and having a fully robotic automated cell producing parts at a rate that humans could not produce on their own. So that automation step certainly cuts down the cycle time and is able to allow us to get our parts to our customers more quickly.
So look, Shawn, thanks for that. That's been really interesting. Thanks for giving us a brief overview of what Greene Tweed is doing. Just give us an idea of what your customer profile looks like. You obviously deal with the big OEMs, but also you're supplying stuff throughout the supply chain, are you?
Yeah, really throughout the entire supply chain. All the tier levels that we're supplying into, obviously in service of the OEMs and defense contracts that we have in place. So really we have a broad spectrum across the industry, and some of the newcomers in the advanced air mobility space we're partnering directly with on new technology developments as well. So it's really a full spectrum across the aerospace industry. Space is also taking off
as well.
No pun intended, but that absolutely is catching a huge wind, and we're seeing a lot of developments ongoing there as well.
I haven't had a chance yet to see some of the advanced air mobility exhibits, but I know there's a big Archer stand over there. So, what just before we finish, where do you see that going? Is there's a lot of promise there, and there's some amazing technology. It looks amazing, and you think this is definitely coming. It's just when and how far away are we from seeing these things fly?
I mean, I think one testament to it is just if you look at the statement that Advanced Air Mobility is making at this show, the size of the investment behind that is tremendous. And I think everyone recognizes that just as we struggled and exchanged on how we get into the show and some of the capability that advanced air mobility can solve for the globe is something that, will prove itself out over time. I think the time component is the question mark, but, from our perspective, we definitely see this taking shape in the near future.
Shawn, thanks for seeing us today, and we wish you the best for the rest of the air show.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the time.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.